So I was holding UCHF AU, which actually got its stop loss hit before it went bearish, and then also gold. Right, so I had gold sells, UCHF buys, AU sells. That didn't make it, but it did end up going in that direction. So yesterday I learned that with my strategy, it has a really well, maybe like 60% hit rate, but that hit rate can be demolished if I don't trade after news. So in order for me to maintain my hit rate of like 60%, I gotta just trade after stuff like this, right? I traded at 8 o'clock yesterday and lost an account because I didn't think to trade after news. So I know now for next time, but it's okay because this time, we're up heavy. Today, what I want to look for is today's the 15th. So after 8:30, so maybe 8:45, 9 o'clock, depending on what price is giving. Okay, so now I have everything I was waiting for. See, I was saying waiting for a bearish 1 hour EMA across. Daily and weekly, monthly is bearish. That's why this move is so hard. And I was taking sells up here and here because when I see this red come over the blue, at that point, you're telling me that price broke support before. And it's then that I'm like, okay, cool. Let me go ahead and put a fib because price is telling me that at one point in time, we're more so bearish. And I already know on the daily and the monthly and the weekly, I'm bearish. So this is what I was looking for on AU. On UJ, I actually exited when price on the 5-minute started turning yesterday. So this must have been right about here. I think I exited here and entered whenever 8 o'clock is. Oh yeah. So I had entries here, but then news hit and it took me out, and then I ran to that position. I think I ran to that position and then I got out when price. So it was just like a nice small scalp, maybe like 50 pips. And for UCHF now, the reason I was in buys was because we had this big old downtrend, and then you see the flow, the trend of price started to change. So we broke these resistances to the left. And so from then I was like, okay, point A, point B, we hit the 100% level at news, when news hit. And then I also took some buys here, and my take profits were here. I was thinking about getting out here, but then I was like, okay, in the last week that I've been using this strategy, every single time I'm like, I probably should have held that trade longer because it worked out for me, especially the ones that start at the bottom and they're consolidating for a bit. I think they just, revving up or gathering buyers, but it takes time because this is actually a move on the daily. So I'm glad I held that one. The next move I'll be looking for on UCHF will be like, yeah, we're probably going to have some more buyers later today or even later tomorrow, but I want to see a pullback and then maybe like one more push bullish. And then that's when I would want to start looking for, a break of support. But I'm just going to make it easier for myself. And I'm going to say when the red goes back on top, that's when I'm going to be interested in sell. So until then, I'm chilling. So, oh my God, in GJ, this is what I'm going to be trading. Yeah, I actually took a sell on a demo last night, but I took it out when the price started coming up here. But I don't know if I had a really good reason for selling. I realized that on the daily, you have the red over the blue, right? Also on the weekly, we are bearish. We have the red over the blue. So I was like, knowing that the weekly time frame is more so the trend of GJ, the structural trend of GJ, we probably could have more of a bearish push. But I'm glad I've been staying away from her because I wouldn't want to be trading this if I didn't have clarity. I don't want to say if I wasn't sure, but if I didn't have clarity. Usually I like to use the 4-hour EMA cross, but you see it flipped bullish here, flipped bullish here, flipped bullish here, when it was really never actually bullish. But I wonder what price is going to do now that it's back on this level, because we haven't been able to break it, because it's weekly support. But that's interesting. Staying away from her. Next few things I do want to see. I want to get some additional, who are you? No, not you. Some additional buys on UCHF later if the opportunity presents itself. Staying away from UJ. Is UJ bearish now? It looks like it, because we're already bearish on daily. Now we just flipped bearish on. Take this. It's just kind of interesting because I didn't know. I don't know what is going to happen. Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna have to say, I'm gonna look for sells. Maybe if like a 1 hour, 30-minute engulfing presents itself after 8:30. It has to be after 8:30. I'm glad I learned that lesson. AU, you know, if I start to see price come back up, I'm gonna want to take some sells in whatever form or fashion. And yesterday on GU, I was like, you just gotta wait for something bearish, and this was around 7 o'clock, right? So I didn't know in what form or fashion it was gonna come, but the reason I had a bearish bias yesterday was because yesterday at one point we had the red over the blue, so that's when I feel safe enough to put my fibs. And I already understood that GU on the overall time frames was bearish on the weekly, bullish on the daily, but it was bearish on the weekly and bearish on the monthly. So that's probably right now the higher time frame is probably playing out right now. And if I have some sort of pullback maybe today or tomorrow, yeah, I would probably look for sells. The same thing with EU. I had it bearish bias yesterday, and again, look how we flipped bearish, right? So I would have been looking for sells in this level, except I don't be up at 3 o'clock anymore in London. That's why I switched to using US pairs, because it makes more sense for me. The reason I had gold sells was the same exact reason. Red over blue, and I was like, okay, let me try to find some sort of resistance to get in on. My take profit was based off of, honestly, I think it was point A. Let me not lie. Point A, point B. I think it was probably based off of from here to here. Whatever, I'm just glad I got out before it reversed, or hit my take profit before it reversed. And I did CM bearish for the pairs that end in USD. And for gold, I did have a bearish bias because of, it was red over blue. I took sells too early, but I took sells on demo, so it's okay. But for right now, I would just be leaving it alone until I'll probably be selling. This is still a seller's territory at the moment. So, but yeah, overall, today was a pretty good trading day.